and seeking blessings from Ma Durga, I am going to speak to you a few words, rather introductions of today's program. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrirupena Sangasthita Namastasai 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 Nama Nama. Jai Ma Durga, Durgati Nashini, bless us all. Revered Swami Divyasudhanandaji Maharaj, principal of these great institutions, other dignitaries, the professors from AIIMS Deoghar, BIT Deoghar, and Dipshar Deoghar, and their corresponding students, and my dear colleagues, and all other persons present here. So today is the concluding day of the 2 days long programs of a youth camp. And yesterday, Revered Secretary Maharaj has already mentioned that Ramakrishna Mission is celebrating its 125th years anniversary. Actually, yesterday you heard about many things about Swami Vivekananda, activities of Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Missions. Swami Vivekananda founded Ramakrishna Mission on 1st May 1897 on his guru, the name of Lord Sri Ramakrishna Dev, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev. You can see the central portrait at this dais. So naturally it is 125 years, and yesterday we enjoyed various programs. I think all of you enjoyed very much. The challenging part was the meditations. Our Brahmachari Maharaj, Brahmachari Amiteshanandaji Maharaj guided us very nicely about how to conduct, how to perform the meditations in the right way. And it is very glad to say you that I noticed some still photos where I noticed most of you were in the proper meditation posture. What will be the mudra, what will be the sitting posture. Though for the first time beginners, Maharaj mentioned, you sit in the relaxed way, not too relaxed, not too stiff, straight, keeping a spinal cord straight like that. So, dear students, now the world, it is the heavy competition days. Heavy competition days. All of you are pursuing your professional courses. A hurdle already you have overcome after completions of your +2 or graduations, some of you. So next hurdles will be there. You have to do the PhD, you have to do the postdoctorate degrees for professional other enrichment of your academic qualifications. So naturally there will be stress, and if stress, then anxiety. If anxiety, then it burns you. So the question is how to overcome this way. This will be there. The life is not the bed of roses. All of you know these things. So life has ups and downs, stress and strains, anxiety. They will be coming and they will be going away. But the youth camp, the program of this 2 days long program, it is how to overcome, how to manage this life in not only in the student life, but in the future when you will be entering in your professional life. So because of such academic excellence, as you need all of you, you need academic excellence. So my humble suggestions to all of you, don't only focus on the academic excellence, but you also lead a balanced life. Like, don't forget for the other life skills, like physical development, spiritual development. We discussed about yesterday mental development, social developments. So if you do these things, and in addition to that, again I am saying that 5 minutes at least for the meditations as per your convenient time. You have your professor A's project work, professor B's assignment, professor says some other assignment to submit on that day. Yes, pressure, anxiety, and gradually lead to the physical emotions, destroy your physical parts, physical bodies. So your meditation can't solve your exact physical problem, your assignment to be finished by you. But my experience and my humble suggestion, if you do at least 5 minutes meditation, that enhances your lots of concentration level, which you can finish in 1 hour, even you can do it in 5 to 10 hours, because full focused on your key concept. Meditations, we are the initiated by our gurus. We have some meditation time, means we remember our gurus, we remember our East. But you are the students. You can meditate on a focus, you can focus on your key themes, like which topic is very hard, which is very hard, oh that thing, so that, so keep and cool and think and concentrate. Many sides around you will be opened. And dear student, the last, only one thing, Swami Vivekananda says, whatever you think, you will be that. If you think yourself weak you will be. If you think yourself strong will be. My dear students, never feel weak, never say no. Whenever any burden, whenever any problem, feel it, it is temporary. Malinga is bowling, Malcolm Marshall is bowling, Gavaskar is playing. So it will be there, it will be kept away. Yes, so that training, it is the motto of our 2 days long sessions. And I hope that today's programs will be very beautiful. Our Professor Dr. Varshney sir is coming, is joining in the morning sessions. And my suggestion is, when Dr. Varshney sir leaves this venue, Shivananda Hall, we shall be proceeding towards the Vivekananda Auditorium for the rest days of the program, that is your cultural program. We will be very much enjoying your programs, and thank you all. Thank you. Program like this, on this today's idea, that is the thematic address on the main topic, Revered Swami Atmashraddhananda ji Maharaj, Secretary, Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, Kanpur. Maharaj will be visible here. He will be giving online speech like yesterday, just after 2-3 minutes more after completion of my introductions. Then Revered Brahmachari Ananda Chaitanya ji Maharaj, Academic Coordinator of Senior Sections, will gratitude by his words of blessings for 5 minutes. And then we will be having Professor Dr. Saurabh Varshney sirs, and all of you know that he is the Executive Director and CEO of AIIMS Deoghar. Sir will be amongst us. He will be blessing us for 20 minutes, and he will be enlightening us with his very motivational and useful speech. We have followed him earlier also. Then we will proceed towards the auditorium, yesterday where your quiz programs were held. And there your cultural programs will be there. First, youth delegations from AIIMS. Your program will start from 11:15 to 11:45 to continue up to 11:45. Then youth delegates from BIT Deoghar from 11:50 to 12:20. And then from youth delegates from Deeghar Deoghar from 12:25 to 12:55. Then the lunch, after lunch break, again the second half sessions, the venue will be here. It is the first it opens at 1:45 with the feedback and question answer sessions. We have our experienced ex-student who has a very well association with the Revered Maharajis. Yesterday perhaps you noticed also. So he will be there, and our respected sirs will be there for guiding you. So if you have any queries, you can interact with him freely. So he is Sanjeev Sinha of 1992 alumnus of our schools. And Kosta Bhattacharya sir and Rajdeep sir will be guiding him. Then the valedictory sessions. It will start again here at 2:30. Mayuk Vishwas, our yesterday's quiz master and English faculty members, will be giving you the introductions. Then Vedic chanting by 3 Revered Maharajis, as you followed here yesterday, same Maharajis. And then the felicitations of the guest, it will be here. Swami Jayantanandaji, Secretary Maharaji will be amongst us, will be very graceful, we are very fortunate that Maharaj will be blessing us. And then Dr. Aruna Jain, Director of Birla Institute of Technology will be here. And then Ashim Kumar Chatterjee, Secretary, Deeghar Deoghar will be here. They will be blessing us. And then the prize distribution and the last vote of thanks by Revered Principal Maharaj, Swami Deoghar ji Maharaj, as you know him. Okay, thank you all. I wish you all the best. a best day in your life in Vidyapith at this auditorium and at the Shivananda Hall. Thank you all for listening to me. Jai Ma.
So shall we begin today's program with your kind consent? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Good morning to one and all. My pranams to Revered Swami Atmashraddhananda Maharaj ji, the Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Kanpur. My pranams to Revered Swami Jayantananda Maharaj ji, the Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapith Deoghar. My pranams to Principal Maharaj, Swami Divyasudhananda Maharaj ji, and all the dear brothers and sisters, as well as the teaching and non-teaching staff. Maharaj, uh, Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapith Deoghar is conducting a 2-day youth camp as a part of 125th anniversary of Ramakrishna Mission, and the participants of this youth camp assembled here today are the best of the minds in our country. Medical students from AIIMS, engineering students from Birla Institute of Technology Deoghar, and BS students from Deva Sangha Seva Pratishthan. Before we start, I want to speak about the profile of Swami Atmashraddhananda Maharaj ji for 2 minutes. Revered Swami Atmashraddhananda Maharaj ji is a monk of Ramakrishna order and a secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama, Kanpur. He joined the Ramakrishna order in 1989 and was initiated into sannyasa in 1999. He was in Bangalore and Mysore Ashrama for 13 years and in Chennai Ramakrishna Mutt for 12 years. And for about 2 years, he was one of the monastic guides and instructors at the Monastic Probationers Training Center at Ramakrishna Mutt, Belur Math, near Kolkata in West Bengal. He was the guide of Vivekananda Study Center of IIT Madras for 12 years. He is the former editor of the 100 years old spiritual and cultural monthly of Ramakrishna Mutt, the Vedanta Kesari, and is known for his reflective writing and speaking style. He has authored a number of books covering Vedanta philosophy and Indian culture. He has edited, translated, and authored a couple of books on some aspects of spiritual life, Indian culture, and higher value. For 12 years, he was the guide of Vivekananda Study Center at IIT Madras, where he used to conduct a Sunday class for the study center. On October 9, 2018, he assumed the office of Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. He conducts a weekly meditation class at Vivekananda Samiti of IIT Kanpur. Revered Maharaj, it is our humble request to please infuse these young minds with the power and inspiration of Swami Vivekananda, so they can be effective members in our society. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Anand Chaitanya Maharaj, and my greetings to Swami Jayantananda Maharaj, who is sitting right there, I can see, and my very, no, I would say very enthusiastic namaste to all those who have gathered here for this morning talk. My also greetings to other monastics like our Swami Divya Sudhanji Maharaj and Amitesh Chaitanya Maharaj and others who have been very enthusiastic, very interested in organizing this program. I really appreciate the initiative taken in that. So before I begin, I'll begin with my customary prayer. So I generally begin my talk by that. So kindly stay tuned. This is in praise of Swami Vivekananda and a few Shanti mantras. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Tejo Asi Tejo Mai Dehi Balamasi Balam Mai Dehi Ojo Asi Ojo Mai Dehi Viryamasi Viryam Mai Dehi Manyurasi Manyum Mai Dehi Saho Asi Saho Mai Dehi Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Dear friends, as we all know, we are here to be part of this very special event, which is to mark the 125th anniversary of founding of the Ramakrishna Mission. About a few months back, a decision was taken by the headquarters of the Ramakrishna Mission, the Belur Mutt, that to mark the 125th birth anniversary or the foundation anniversary of the Ramakrishna Mission, we shall hold 125 youth conventions across India. So this is one such convention, residential camp. There have been conventions, and I have had the privilege, the blessing to interact with youth elsewhere also. Like recently, we had one in Kanpur itself, from where I am speaking. We had one in Jamshedpur, and very recently there was an international seminar on practical Vedanta and divinity of man at the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture in Kolkata. So you have this 125 youth conventions which have been held or are being held in different parts of India. And the culmination will be in December when an All India Youth Convention is being held. That will be 126th Youth Convention. So it's very important that we should interact and we should engage with the youth. Very important. And I appreciate the initiative taken by Deoghar Ashrama, Deoghar Vidyapith, Swami Jayantanji, Divya and others in organizing this. It requires, organizing requires a lot of initiative, a lot of working out of details. Why youth? That's because youth, suppose you are having a very important jewel with you. Now, all of you are young. Suppose as you grow, all of you will gain. You will gain in knowledge. You will gain in experience, and you will also become, let's say, those who produce wealth, those who create wealth. So you create wealth, you create knowledge in a sense that you come up with more experiments with many of you as doctors will come up with your fund or your wisdom of treating a patient, your own art and your own science of understanding of medicine. Then when we have something very very valuable, be it medical or engineering or any other field of life, we want to pass it on. And who should it pass it on to? Because we all know that our sojourn, our stay on this earth is not forever. We assume a body and we live as long as the body lasts. But before we go, we want to entrust it to the right person. So the best person to receive this is a recipient, good youth. The youth is the person whom we should give it. Way back in the Taittiriya Upanishad, one of the Upanishads which is a few thousand years back, the teacher says that may I give this knowledge to people who are strong, who are healthy, who are good, who are learned, and who are wealthy, not to beggars, who are wealthy. Ashishto, Dradishta, Balishta. That is not only that, Vittasya Purna Syat. And added to that, he says, Vidwan and Sadhu Bhavati. These are all qualities mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishad about the recipient of spiritual knowledge or spiritual traditions which the Rishi had got. So same thing you find in Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. So they also wanted that this should go to the right person. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that when you have a brick being made, the brick made of mud, you scoop out the mud and you mix with the water, and once it is wet, you put it in a small mold, and the mold will generally have the name of the company over it. So you take it out and then you dry it and then finally burn it or you bake it in the fire. Now, in this process, once you take it out, it is very wet. It is still very not. It's not baked. Then you find, no, there is something wrong with it. I need to redo it. So you can make some changes in that. But once it is baked, once it is put in fire and baked, you can't bring any changes in that. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say the youth or the youthful mind is like unbaked brick. It's yet not baked in the all the experiences of life, where you have to deal with different forces as you grow in life. You have to deal with different forces. Then the mind gets formed. So suppose what you are listening to since yesterday, you have heard Swami Bodhmayanji, you have heard Swami Vivekananda's teachings being read out to you, question answers and things like that. Suppose you were to hear all this, not now when you're in your 20s, but you were to hear it later in life, let's say when you were in 70s, you would find that you would not be able to gain much out of it. Though you will definitely get an intellectual knowledge, but because you have crossed a certain age, you will not be able to put into practice as you will be able to do now when you're young. You will be able to practice that. So I'm very happy that this opportunity is provided to you to get exposure to Swami Vivekananda's ideas. Particularly in the context of developing oneself. We have Swamiji's ideas at different levels. There are some very scholarly ideas. We can have a discussion on that. We can have some discussion on Swamiji's ideas on Advaita Vedanta or on what in relation with Shankaracharya. But that's not what we are going to do here. We are not going into a very scholarly kind of a discussion. We are going into a discussion which is very practical, which is down to earth, related to all of us. And that is very essential to keep the goal very clear, and that is how to make ourselves into a better human being. This making of ourselves into a better human being is what Swami Vivekananda used to call as man-making education. Man-making religion, he would say, man-making education, and man-making in everything. Now, all of us are man, aren't we? We are all Homo sapiens. So what's man-making then? So we have been born, we have been given this body by the blessings of our parents. We are grateful to them. See, in our Shastras, it is said that a Jivatma, or let's say the subtle body mixed with the divine, it is in search of the right body to carry out its karma. So then he is blessed with that by his parents. So we have got this body. You are no longer children. You have grown up. You are in 20s and you are all studying You're all studying in different courses as per your desire and as per the availability. So what's man making then? Aren't we men? So we have to understand Swami Vivekananda's idea of man making then. What is a man? So what is a human being? Sometimes you read in the papers, there are people who do very, very heinous crimes, or who indulge in a lot of such activities which ashame you. Oh my God, he did this. We talk like that. It could be bribery, it could be cheating, it could be anything inhuman, and anyone can do this. Be it an officer, be it a doctor, be it an engineer, be it a commoner, a shop owner, a businessman, anyone, because these are the tendencies of the human mind. There is also, on the parallel side, we have that we can do good things. So whenever something bad happens, we ask the question, Are kya hua? Why he has not behaved properly? Ye kya human behavior hai kya? Why did he kill someone, or did he something which was very wrong he did? Why did he do that? Then you start looking into his personality. You start searching for that. Once I went to Kerala. In Kerala, there was some event had happened involving someone who had outraged the modesty of a young lady, and he practically killed her. So that man's past was studied. Then it was found that yes, he had a very disturbed past. He had not grown up into a very right type of atmosphere. His upbringing was very bad. So that upbringing, since it was very bad, when he came to that situation, the animal in him got aroused. And that's what the wrong thing happened. So we have within us, this is what Swami Vivekananda says, we have within us not only an animal tendency, we also have much deeper than that, we have the divine tendencies. So we have an animal in us, and we have the human in us, and we have the divine in us. Now it's left to us what training we give to ourselves to manifest which aspect of our personality. If it's only the animal, then we don't need much elaboration. We all understand it. So if you have an animal tendency coming out, so today we have plenty of things to nurture that. We have the media, wrong type of media. We have the social media. We have books. We have discussions. We have all kinds of things to make the animal in us more strong, more nurtured. And we know it causes only pain. It brings disappointment. It brings a lot of what we call in Sanskrit as shoka. It brings a sorrow. Are aisa kyun hua? Why did it do that? These are the things that come to us. So then let us try to not restrict ourselves only to that aspect. Let's go deeper. Let us analyze, as did our rishis. All of us are descendants of the rishis. Now, if you look back into your history, anyone's history, you will find that way back thousands of years, we had our ancestors. And we are so blessed that our ancestors were men of great meditation, great self control, great spiritual achievements. We are all children of those ancestors whom we call as rishis. We are all rishi santanas. I once happened to go to a place where people had come, they were talking about, that their ancestors are the pirates who attack the helpless ships on the sea and make money out of it and create whatever wealth they make out of it. So at that time I started thinking, oh look, these people think of the pirates, the seafarer, the sea pirates as their ancestors. And how fortunate we are in our country who have such people as rishis as our ancestors. Go back and back and back, you will find that's from where we all begin. This is what Swamiji had mentioned in one of his talks, that we are all children of such rishis. So why we have forgotten our heritage? So what is Rishi? Rishi is not somebody who has a big beard, and you say Ramananda Sagar's Ramayana, you will see Rishi means some beard. No, that's not about beard. That's not about what externally you are, but internally. Have you developed that power of concentration, power of purity? Have you developed the power of unselfishness? That's what makes you Rishi. That what makes you prepared for a higher perception of life. So these rishis investigated into the human personality very well. It was this investigation into the human personality which is our greatest heritage. And when we are here interacting with the youths and we are trying to offer that wisdom, that knowledge to them, we are indeed doing a kind of, we are paying a homage to our own ancestors. One thing, we are all in 21st century. We are in 23, October 23. We are living today's world where the big war is going on in Israel, the Hamas in the Israel and some other countries arraying, and a lot of killing that's happening. That disturbs us. They feel why human beings should be like that. Of course, we are not here to discover the politics of it. But if you go deeper into war, you will find the war always begins from the heart. It is not just the external circumstances. It's not just that there have been such conspiracies, political or otherwise, which led to this military training and all that, which led to the war. No. If you go deeper, you'll find it is because there is a seed of hatred which has been put in the heart of the people and their actions and their practices which led to this war, or which will lead to further wars in future. This is what the UNO Charter says. The wars do not begin outside, it begins from the heart of the man. So we have to go back into the heart and study ourselves. Then only we become complete human beings. This is what Swami Vivekananda spoke of when he said we should have a man-making education. Man-making is not just getting education for a career. We all need to have a education for career also, very important. None of us is expected to become dependent on others or be a beggarly person. He is not earning properly. He is not developing those skills which will make him honest living with dignity. He should stand on his feet, whatever profession he takes up. But to say that career is the only aim of life is not to recognize the total possibilities of human life or total requirements of human life. Once I was talking to a school teacher, and we were speaking about youth conventions such as this. And immediately, he was also the principal of a school. He said immediately, "Oh, this is very much required, Swamiji, because," he said, "in my family, there are a couple of IAS officers in my extended family. But I find many of them are so corrupt. They're so money minded. They're so mean minded. So I wonder, why did they not get this as this opportunity to listen to these ideas? What is a human being? What's the purpose of life? What are the human values? If only they had heard this, they would have been much better, useful citizens and citizens of the country and would have served the country in a much better way." So let's understand then. Having said all this, now let's understand what's human being. We all have tried to understand what human being is. Those who are in the medical world, they have their understanding. To them, I would say, please do refer to a book called Man the Unknown. It's a remarkable book. It's almost a century-old book. It's by Dr. Alexis Carrel. He speaks of the so many undiscovered aspects of the human body, how so many things happen within our system. He says there are things which we don't understand. But those who are not in the medical world, if you further you go, it is simple common sense. Who are we? So if you go into the Hindu scriptures, the Vedantic scriptures, you will find this question asked. It's not that I am asking or you have this in your mind and you have a question to ask. It's a question asked thousands of years back. Who are we? So let's take the help of their findings to understand we are. Why? Because only when we understand what we are, we'll be able to do things as is expected of us. Suppose we think ourselves to be sinners. We think ourselves to be we always those who have done wrong things, who are suffering, who have a very negative attitude about oneself, we will accordingly act. Suppose we don't think ourselves sinner, we think ourselves as children of God. We are all part of divinity. And we don't have a negative feeling, but a positive feeling about ourselves. Our external life also will change. So self-image matters a lot. So you stand before the mirror, you see your image, you adjust your hair, you put some cosmetic on your cheeks, you try to look better. But that's only a physical thing. Why not we go deeper? Why not we understand our personality? This is what I think we should all make attempt to. So there are 2, 3 approaches to it. So first approach, let me state before you, it is from Vedanta. Vedanta is what we call as the Upanishads. Upanishads are that teaching of the Vedas, which may be called the very sum total of the Vedas. So it's not though Vedanta means Vedasya Anta, the end of Vedas. So it is not the last chapter. In a book, go through, you have first chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, you have the last chapter. It's not in that sense. It is in the sense of that this is what the Vedas are essentially trying to teach us. The Vedas first teach us, if any one of you happen to thumb through the book called Vedas. Now, one book, let's say 2 books are available of the Vedas, but the original Vedas were not written. They came later. So they were passed on from generation to generation. They were discovered by the meditative reflection of a very pure minds of the rishis. But these were later on, they were supposed to be 1180 such branches of the Vedas. Now only very few are remaining. So whatever, suppose you go through it, most of it you will find that it's about rituals. यज्ञ करना है, हवन करना है, पुत्र कामेष्टि यज्ञ है. You will find this in Ramcharitmanas, that when Ramji's parents wanted that they should be blessed with a son, they did a yajna called putra kameshti yajna. So like that, many yajnas are mentioned. But Vedas tell us that this is only a beginning of the human desires. We have a lot of desires. So in those days, they thought this is the best way to fulfill desires. Let us, चलो ये यज्ञ करते हैं. इसमें ये मंत्र बोलेंगे, and this is how we will organize our the whole thing. And from that, the whole thing has come out of. But afterwards, as man progresses, he begins to grow more mature. He begins to say it's only not fulfillment of desires that's the purpose of life. Suppose you have all the money with you and all the property with you and all the things with you. You also begin to look for something deeper. You are not satisfied with only a luxurious lifestyle. You see, in the Western countries where we say, in our language, we'll say there's a lot of enjoyment, a lot of bhoga. Why so many people are suffering from mental disorders? Why around more than 40% have to take antidepressants? Why they need money, a tablet for sleeping all the time? That's because somewhere they need to change their outlook towards life. It's not just materials, it's not money, it's not enjoyment, it's not only senses. We need to go one step ahead. Not all people are like that. There are wonderful people in the West also. There are a good section which is like that. That's what I'm referring to. It's happening in India also. We get everything. We have a big suicide rate in India that's happening. A lot of young people committing suicide. Why? Because they think they're just a material. They are only this much a matter, nothing more. So suppose I don't get an admission, I don't get money, I don't get something. So I think of completing my life's journey here itself. Why should that be? There are infinite possibilities in human beings. So the rishis, they try to discover, they investigate into the human personality. The first thing they said was that we are a sthula sharira, we are a body, which is what the subject of all the medical sciences are. That we have a body, we have various senses of the body, we have the eyes, ears, etc. We have the various physical dimensions. But then they said this physical dimension, this physical body, is only one aspect of the human personality. There's a second thing, which they called it as Sukshma Sharira. First, they call it Sthula Sharira, which is gross body, then Sukshma Sharira, which is subtle body. The subtle body is that which is not, seen by eyes. It is very Sukshma. Now, how do you say it is there? When I can't see it, how do you say it is there? So they take to another one instrument, not the instrument of, let's say, a telescope or a microscope, or you have a number of machines in the medical world. No, it's not. They'll be no use to understand the Sukshma Sharira. You can't do an endoscopy for the Sukshma Sharira. No. Sukshma Sharira is something very subtle. Again, you have to believe in certain findings of these great sages. They said, look, all of us have got memory, all have got a sense of thinking and sense of feeling. And not only that, there is also a sense of ego in us, a sense of I. So all that you will find that is present in a very, very invisible way. When you say it's invisible, then naturally it means that you have got something called a Sukshma Sharira. So this Sukshma Sharira is present all over the body. Then there is added to that is a further Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, then there is a further, it is known as the Karana Sharira. So three types of bodies. The gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. What is the causal body? The Karana Sharira. It is basically ego. A very simplified form. It's basically ego. It's the ego which keeps the things going. So this is one understanding of the human body or the human personality. There's another way of looking at it. We all have the Sukshma Sharira, we have the mind. What's mind? You have studied in your psychology. There are many things which are in Western psychologies, particularly beginning with the, let's say, the person who Swamiji had met in Harvard University. Swami Vivekananda spoke at Harvard, and there was a famous gentleman who later is called almost the father of the modern Western psychology. And then further you go, then Freud came, then Jung came, and then further many other have tried to understand the human nature or human mind. In India itself, there is a parallel attempt, or rather much older and ancient and also time-tested attempt to understand the human personality or the human mind. And what's that? That's called the yoga way of understanding. So what is the yoga way of understanding the Sukshma Sharira or human mind? The yoga way is that you say you have an antakarana. Just as you have got an external senses, we call it as bahya karana, eyes, ears, hands, feet. They're all external senses. Similarly, we have an internal something, we call it as an antakarana. So this antakarana or internal instrument is is a big vast field of study. They say it has got four functions. It's not there are four antakaranas, it's only having four aspects of its functioning. Like you have got the aspect of first of all memories there, or we have a receptors. Suppose you look at a bird or you look at an object, you immediately are reminded whether I've seen this or not. Does this bird look like a crow, or does it look like something else? So there is some activity which is happening in the mind that's called the chitta, the starting of a activity in the mind, in the chitta. With that, all the memories also rush in. Oh yes, I have seen such a bird in that park or that tree when I was a little child. I was going to school. I saw that. We might come across that. So we have the chitta, that is the first thing, first aspect is memory. And memory is always generally we want to relive our good memories and don't want to relive our bad memories. So that's the aspect of chitta. Then we also think about it, whether it is so or not. We are in a kind of a unclear statement, and it's also some kind of imagination there. Suppose now you have come for this youth convention. So first into your mind idea came that let me go there. You heard you saw the invitation, you saw the uh, opportunity, and then you thought over it. Should I go or should I not go? So should I go or should I not go is what we call as manas, which means evaluating whether I should do it or whether I should I not go. Manas is also the place where a lot of imagination happens. Most of the scientific discoveries involve a lot of practical imagination. Recently, a couple of years back, one of the scientists wrote a book, and now it has made into a kind of a beautiful film also. It's known as Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist. So what's that? It speaks of how Swamiji says that at one point the logic stops, the reasoning doesn't work. We need to go deeper. And Swamiji had a remarkable understanding of science of his days, very remarkable, and that speaks of a that he was not going to he didn't go to a lab and study. He did not do a course on science as we do, most of the scientifically educated people do. No, he did not do that, but he had a remarkable understanding of science. How did he get that? He says it is because of the intuition Swamiji had, or intuitive understanding of science which Swamiji had. Then you have the first, as I referred to, there is the memory or the chitta. Then there is the manas. There is a power of imagination and thinking whether it is to be done or not to be done. Then there is the power of buddhi, the third aspect, the power of buddhi, thinking. So thinking is very, it's a great faculty in us. Not that everybody would have developed that faculty. Just because you think something, it doesn't mean that you have really developed the faculty of thinking. Along with thinking, there should be what we call as viveka, or the power of evaluating what is right and wrong and arriving at the right and sticking to that. For instance, we all have buddhi. We know cigarette is not good for health. Now, that's only a knowledge. That's a thinking, but that's only a knowledge. We are not able to practice it. A good number of the people, Mark Twain is supposed to have said, "Oh, giving up of smoking, that's very easy. I have done it so many times." So you can't really give up something so many times. You give it up means you give it up, which means he has got a very weak willpower and a very weak understanding of the whole issue. So what is along with buddhi, there should be viveka, and development of viveka is so central to development of human personality. I'll tell you in a very funny way. So there was uh, a villager. I'll tell in Hindi. It will make a greater impact. तो एक गांव वाला था, वो अपने घर के बाहर बैठता था और वो देखता था कि कैसे उसके घर के सामने से हर रोज बड़ी बड़ी भैंसें निकलती हैं। अभी जब भैंसें निकलती हैं तो उसमें से एक भैंस थी जिसके दो बड़े सींग थे, बड़े इंप्रेसिव सींग थे। उसको बड़ा अट्रैक्शन लगता था, अरे कितना सुंदर है, क्यों ना मैं इन सींगों के बीच में जाके बैठ जाऊं। अब उसके मन में ही आता था। तो एक दिन उसने वो बैठा रहा, शाम को जब भी भैंसें जाती थी वो देखता था। तो एक दिन उसने सोचा चलो आज बैठ ही जाते हैं। वो जब वो बड़ी भैंस आई, वो जा रही थी, तो इसने भाग कर उसके सिर पर चढ़ने का प्रयास किया और सींगों पर बैठने का जैसे ही उसने ऊपर पैर उड़ाया तो उसने जोर से उसको धक्का लगा के नीचे गिरा दिया। जब नीचे गिरा दिया, ही वॉज वेरी बैडली हर्ट। तो घर आया कराहता हुआ। तो घर में उसके घर वालों ने पूछा उनकी पत्नी ने पूछा, अच्छा क्या हुआ? वो बोले, नहीं वो ना भैंस जा रही थी तो मैं उसके सींगों के बीच में बैठने का प्रयास किया। तो उन्होंने कहा, अरे उनके बीचों के सींगों के बीच बैठने का प्रयास किया, कुछ सोचा तो होता पहले। देन ही सेज, अरे पगली 15 दिन से सोच रहा हूं कि वहां बैठना है। So it is not just thinking that's being referred to. It is viveka. Buddhi means doing the right thing. That is why we have the prayer, the famous prayer, the Gayatri. In the Gayatri mantra, Gayatri prayer, we always have the prayer for awakening our intellect. The last portion of the mantra says, Dhiyo yo naha prachodayat. Hey Prabhu, meri buddhi ko jagrit karo. Which means often our buddhi is not jagrit. So what is the meaning of that it is not Jagrit? It is under the clutches, when the Buddhi is under the clutches of our own human weaknesses. Like we have anger, we have greed, we have selfishness, we have jealousy. Then it is said the Buddhi is really not awakened. Look at the people who indulge in violence. They have tremendous intelligence. Think of 9/11. Think of those people who hit those aeroplane against two twin towers. They were engineers. They were men with a lot of knowledge. They had tremendous, coordination capacity. They had coordinated so many things. They had organized so many things that they could carry on a violence or a destruction of that scale. So it's not only the this intelligence that's the whole of it. Buddhi, awakening of Buddhi means doing good to others, feeling for others, which means overcoming our own lower tendencies. Suppose a person is very selfish, he naturally will do things which are only in favor of his selfish interests. So it means his buddhi has not really awakened. So he has got tremendous intelligence, he has got high IQ, but if we say he doesn't have the human intelligence is that you try to feel for others. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his writings, he says, there are conversations, he says, in the animal kingdom, you have the idea of the survival of the fittest. If you go to the animal kingdom, that animal will survive. Who can survive in that atmosphere? And he has to fight for finding a mate. And if he survives, so he has to be a very fit person. So he has to survive, which means he has to fight. So survival of the fittest. Swamiji says in human life also we find this to some extent. In the social world, we have so much of competition. We have so much of people who are trying to push us aside and they want to go forward. More money, more influence, more power, more property, more etc. etc. But that's not really which makes us human. That only makes us, we become the producers of wealth. We earn, we make a lot of money. We also create a lot of properties. We create a lot of physical infrastructure. We also perhaps develop better means of travel and better means of enjoying things. But look at the life in a more larger sense. Do all these things make man completely happy and satisfied? This is one question that has comes to a person with something. So Swamiji says that a true human being is not one who is the survival of the fittest, but one who gives up his all struggle for only selfish fulfillment. He says it's a long journey. To begin, we don't begin our life with that. We begin our life with selfishness often. He says it's only after a long journey we understand that we can become happy by making others happy, not only making ourselves happy. So this is the principle of Tyaga, principle of giving up the lower self. And Swami Vivekananda said, Tyaga and Seva. This is these are the national ideals before India. If India has to grow, if India and Indians have to develop, they must keep this ideal of Tyaga and Seva before them. So now let us return to what we have been discussing about human personality. We said there is Sthula Sharira, there is Sukshma Sharira, there is the Karana Sharira. There's the gross body, there is the subtle body, and then there is the very causal body. And then we are studying the mind which has got the chitta, the memory, and then we have the manas, which is imagination and also evaluating things. And finally, we have the buddhi. Buddhi is when which is well developed. It's not just intelligence. It's not IQ. It's not only reasoning, but it is more than that. Where values are there, where at any step I can be of some help to others. Which means again a lot of self purification. Only when I am self purified, then I can be of some help to others. And there is another aspect of buddhi which is called the aspect of uh, the sense of ego, sense of I, where we try to own things. We're trying to possess that. This possession, this I itself actually is a source of lot of our troubles. But I'll not go into deeper into that subject. It's a big, larger subject. I will just close at this point, this section of our talk, that there are four aspects of the mind, and these we must understand in order to have a greater self development. Now let's go further. Based on this itself, there is also a description in within our say let's say in Kathopanishad, there is a description of human personality in another way. They say think of the human personality like a chariot. जैसे रथ होता है ना, जैसे राम जी का रथ है, तो रथ चल रहा है. So you have the human personality like a rath, like a chariot. And this chariot is being driven by horses, and the horses have got reins or ropes around their nose, which is the hand of somebody. And there is someone who is sitting behind him. Now, let us have this picture more clearly in the human perspective. Think of yourself as a chariot. Each one of us is a chariot. And in this chariot, we have the five senses, especially the Gyanendriyas, which are our horses, which are trekking us forward. What are Gyanendriyas? Five senses: eyes. When we see some object, we go towards it, or if it is going to harm us, we step aside. Then we have the sound, the ears. We have the nose for smell. We have mouth for tasting. We have the skin for touching. So these five senses, or you can add the action senses also, like we have the organ of evacuation, or organs of like the hand and the feet. Suppose these senses, you take them, they are like the horses for the body, called chariot. But then in whose hand these senses are? These are in the hands of what we call as manas. If the mind is pure, if the mind is well trained, if the mind is very well disciplined, then the senses become our friends, because it's the mind which is controlling them. If the senses are in the hands of a mind which is very impure, these senses are the cause of so much of problems, so much of misery and pain. They lead to all kinds of unwanted things in life. And this mind again is in the hands of the buddhi. Buddhi, if it is awakened, which is free from all this partiality towards, let's say, anger, greed, jealousy, lust, etc., when the buddhi is free from all that, then the buddhi becomes our very wonderful driver of the chariot. And who is sitting within? The sitting is the self, the Atman within. Actually, Jivatman, it is spoken of. Let's take of understanding. It is the Atman within. So if we have our well-trained horses and well-trained buddhi, you will find that human life becomes much easier to live, much more rewarding, much more on the right track. So it's not that word can be changed only by making rules. Swami Vivekananda says, just by making better laws in the parliament, human beings can't be changed. It doesn't mean that we should not make good laws in parliament. We should make good laws in parliament. We should not make partial or such laws which are wrong in their ultimate perception or result. No, we should have such laws which are for the good of the all. But that doesn't make human being completely human. The change must come from within. So Parliament cannot enter into our heart. It can only restrict us to some extent. So we have to go deeper, and this deeper is what Swami Vivekananda called as man making. That we have to take care of ourselves. Power of reflection. We are speaking of buddhi, for instance. Let us reflect over what kind of life I am leading. What's the goal of my life? What do I want? If we ask this kind of questions, you will find slowly the answers becoming clear. The solution, the right solution can be only found when the right questions are asked. If the right questions are not asked, we don't find the solution. So first let us find the right questions. Now I'll come to a very important thing, which I think we might have as well said at the beginning, but it's fine if we discuss it at this stage. And that is, what's the purpose of human life? What are we, essentially speaking? This question, Swami Vivekananda, when he went to the West, when he spoke at the Parliament of Religions, he pointed it out. All of you know that Swami Vivekananda went to America. So he actually went to America twice. When he went for the first time, he went as a explorer. He had no introduction. He just got into a ship which was sponsored by some of his disciples. And as he traveled by that ship, which passed through different countries and briefly stopped over even in China, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Japan, and finally reaching Vancouver. And then he went to Chicago. And in Chicago, Swamiji spoke at the Parliament of Religions, but then he was not at all, an invited person there. So there's a long story of how he finally reached the Parliament of Religions and spoke there. It's a very inspiring story. I would request everyone to please read that part of Swamiji's life very well. It speaks of his tremendous willpower and also his capacity to handle the unknown things in such a wise way. At that Parliament of Religions, when Swamiji was asked to speak, he referred to this. What is a human being? And that shook many people. They always thought that we are only sinners. We are bad. Somehow God has to save us. But Swami Vivekananda said, no. All of us are essentially divine. He actually quoted in English language. He translated into English a verse from the Ishavasya, from the Shvetashvatar Upanishad, one of the Upanishads, you see, very important Upanishads. The original Sanskrit is like this: Shunvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Vishwani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varna Tamasah Parastat Tameva Vijitvati Mrityumeti Nanyah Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya. This is from the Shvetashvatar Upanishad. Swamiji translated into beautiful English, very poetic English. He said, "Hear ye children of immortal bliss. Ye are the children of immortal bliss. Sinner, it's a sin to call a man so. You're all divine. We are all immortal, children of the immortal bliss." So this is one thing we have to remember again and again, that we are all divine. We are not just matter. Body, mind, both are considered matter. Body is strong matter and mind is little subtle matter. For because both of them are changing. Body is every moment dying, developing into a new body. Then uh, we have the mind, which is also changing. So we can't really have something which is always changing as the ultimate. There should be something which does not change, and that something which does not change in all of us is our fundamental ground on which we all stand, and that's called the divinity present in all of us. So let us remember that divinity. Swamiji said, my ideal indeed can be put into a few words, and that is how to manifest this divinity. So what's the meaning of present manifest our divinity? First of all, let us try to awaken our own higher values in life. Our higher values, whenever we awaken them, we are actually awakening our own divinity. We are manifesting our own divine nature. Suppose somebody is very mean, is very morally weak. He's always drawn towards things which are not very ethical. To such a person, we'll say, you are not manifesting your divinity. You are not expressing your divine nature. You are only expressing your lower nature. Try to express your higher nature, your own divine nature. Another meaning of divinity is manifesting the divinity is to manifest our strength. We should be strong. You know, one big problem in today's world is that we have people who cannot withstand no, which means something which I wanted to get in life, it doesn't happen. Then I say, oh, life is so tough. Which means we fall into a very state of depression, a state of gloomy thoughts. At that time, let us try to remember, recall. Let us try to point out what Vedanta is telling us, what Swami Vivekananda is telling us. Vivekananda says that each soul is potentially divine. In the Kathopanishad, there's a verse which says that just as the external world does not affect the sun, how the sun rays, they fall in different places. The sun ray falls on the Ganga. It also falls on the drainage water. It falls on a beautiful place and a dirty place, on saint and sinner alike. Same way, the divinity in us is never affected by external events. So when things don't go our way, when we have to face some no, some failure, some difficulty, always remember the divinity within, which is never affected by it. The more we remember our divinity, the less troubled we will be in life. Because then we know that there is something which nothing can affect us. Third thing, the more we are actually trying to manifest our divinities, then we are more into becoming more and more unselfish. Unselfishness, Swami Vivekananda said, is more paying in life in the long run. But people don't have the patience to practice it. They want immediate some good things and they become extremely selfish. But if you really want to really gain in the longer run, it is unselfishness which will pay for it. So these three aspects of manifesting the divinity we can always bear in mind, of strength, of unselfishness, of not being affected by the no's in life or the negative situations in life. That's how we can slowly develop our personality. It is a personality that matters most. You see, we face different circumstances and challenges in life. It is a personal response to that which finally makes our life. Our life is made by whatever response we give to those situations. Somebody who is very weak will crumble down in front of a difficult situation. Somebody who is strong will handle it in a much mature manner and he will grow out of it. If we run away from situations, we don't grow from that. Swami Vivekananda said, face the brute. Don't run away from problems, but face the brute. Each one will have his own different problems and different brute. Somebody may have speaking in English, maybe his difficulty. Somebody's maybe that he's not able to get up in the morning. That is his brute. Somebody else's brute is that he tells lies. He is not able to overcome that habit. Each one we have to discover. We have to find out which part of our life needs to be set right. And the purpose of life is to manifest that divinity within. The more we understand and the more we make effort, the more we really grow in life. Sometimes this question comes: if divinity isn't present in all, then how do you explain the people who are evil, who are violent, people whom we know they have the very bad tendencies and we want to keep away from them? To which again, Swami Vivekananda's ideas come to help us. He says divinity isn't present in all, but the manifestation is different. Why? It is because just like a bulb is covered with dust, then the divinity or the light that is in bulb will not come out, or it will come in a very small way. The more we clean up the bulb, which means the medium through which the divinity comes, the more light is there. The same way, the more we have this divinity manifesting in human beings, better they are, nobler they are, stronger they are. And the less, when their mind is covered with all kinds of negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative intentions, negative actions, then the divinity within gets as if, covered up. That's what we call the difference between a man and a man. So these are a few thoughts I thought I'll share with you. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Next, we would hear something from Professor Dr. Saurabh Varshney, Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Deoghar, who will be addressing us today. And it's indeed our honor and privilege that he is present here amongst us in this auditorium. But before his speech, we would like to welcome on stage our revered Secretary Maharaj, revered Swami Jayantanandaji Maharaj, and our revered Principal Maharaj, revered Swami Divyasudhanandaji Maharaj on stage to felicitate Sir. Revered Maharaj is now felicitating Dr. Saurabh Varshney, Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Deoghar. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, sir. Now we would like to welcome Doctor to please come here on the podium to deliver his speech.
It's always a pleasure for us to have Dr. Varshney in this campus. Yes, he is the Executive Director and CEO of AIIMS Deoghar, and we can understand the responsibility lying on his shoulder. But we consider him an esteemed member of Vidyapith family. And we always feel that he has got some special affection for this institution, and particularly the ideology of Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna mission. Whenever we approached him for any reason, He was so cooperative. And if you see, this time also, conducting one youth camp in a very short notice, readily he agreed. And he was supposed to come in the valedictory session in the afternoon, but due to some urgency of official responsibilities, it is not possible for him to attend the valedictory session. That is why we are getting him right now with his presentation. So now we'll hear him. I will not take much time. And he has to rush to airport just after this session is over. So on behalf of Vidyapith family, we convey our heartfelt thanks, gratitude, regards to Dr. Professor Saurabh Varshney, Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Deoghar. Sir, please.
Very good morning. Thank you to Revered, respected Swamiji for these kind words. I always look for an opportunity to be with our commission, because standing here always makes you think beyond your daily routine, gives you a different vision. Before I start my discussion, I like to pray the divinity within Swamiji, Swamiji Jayanathanji, Swami Devaswananji, all brahmacharis. And I like to thank the youth, that is 3 institutes I have been told, the students of 3 institutes are here, to have some ideas of people who don't only talk about, they practice about what they talk about. So it is very rare to find such people, that it's easy to talk about things, but they are the real people who practice and then they tell you, so it's worth attending, listening, try to practice. I think this camp has been arranged for youth. We know India is a young country. 60% of our population is youth. So the future of the country is youth, and we are very, very sure and hopeful that our future is very bright, because our youth are very talented, they're very bright. So we have full faith and trust on our youth. But there are certain things with experience we have learned in our life, and we like to share with this younger generation that how they can excel. They are good, but how can they be much better? So I think this camp is a one step in that very, very important thinking. So I was asked about to talk about the theme of this workshop is personality development and effective life management. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a Swami. I'm a person who learn with experience. Some of my experience may be my failures, my faults, which also teach me. And I come up back with new ideas and at least a learning that I failed because of this. So I'll be talking about personality development. I think I was hearing to Swamiji before this, a very learned man, wonderful ideas he was sharing. So I think after his presentation, whatever I'll say will sound very meaningless, but it will definitely say, if you want to learn something, keep on repeating, then only you remember and practice. So maybe repetition for you. What is personality? When we talk about personality, we have different meaning of personality everyone thinks about. But it's a Greek word which came from the word persona, because in the drama club there, people used to take mask, hold it with a stick, put it on their face, and then perform on the stage. And from that verbal act and a verb, it came out a word as personality. That is, you try to be what you want to be. That is personality. So when you talk about personality, it is something what you want to be, and you project and you want to show the world what you look like. That is personality. Now, we all talk about who are you? Because when we talk about, many people think that they try to ban karte. We think about that he is more intelligent than me, he is much more smarter than me, he is better looking than me. So we always try to find who are you, who am I? That is first question which makes you think about your personality. Now, there are various technical definitions to personality. I'll not go into any detail. There are different terms used to define yourself. It may be personality, it may be your character, it may be your temperament, it may be your trait, it may be your personality type. So we use different terminologies, but today we are talking about personality. God has created every person with utmost care and love and affection. So every person on this earth is unique. In spite of being unique, we react differently to a same situation. When we give a same situation to all people in this hall, the reactions will be different. When the reactions and actions will be different, that defines our personality. That is how you build up that what is acceptable norm, what you should be doing right, that you are showing a right personality. That is what we have to work on. So personality development has a big sphere. So it was George Bernard Shaw, he said, life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. That how you develop, groom yourself, your life is reflected like that. We talk about Swami Vivekananda ji, so much to learn and read about him, that he transformed his life into that he is ideal to so many of us today also. So that is a personality you create. So personality has an amalgamation of many small components. I'll take just one minute on every component. First, build hope and optimism. It's an old saying, every day is not good, but there is definitely good every day. So when you start thinking about aaj ka din to bahut kharab gaya, it's a negative thinking. If you think कि आज क्या अच्छा गया, एक इंसिडेंट जरूर ऐसा हुआ होगा, you will remember this went good. किसी से झगड़ा भी हुआ होगा आपका, if you had a fight with someone, I say it's a good incident because you identified that person, that you don't have to trust that person. It's something good for that day. So always build hope and optimism. It's an old saying, positive people are surrounded by positive people only. That is, positive thinking people are surrounded by positive thinking. Negative thinking people are surrounded by negative thinking people only. So first start developing positive thoughts. That you have to have a positive thinker. If you think about negative every time, एग्ज़ाम की डेट आई उससे पहले सोच लिया कि फेल हो जाएंगे तो पास नहीं हो सकते. एग्ज़ाम की डेट आई और हमने सोचा नहीं फेल नहीं हम पास होंगे एंड आई विल गेट गुड मार्क्स. अच्छे नंबर शायद ना आए, पास तो ज़रूर हो जाओगे. So these positive thoughts are to be inculcated. It is optimism, feeling good about the work you do. Happier people, they are more healthy. Laughter and humor are part of happiness. Second is, you all are students. Particularly our medical students are sitting. When we entered medical school, we only had mindset, medicine means padhai. Padhai, padhai, padhai. There is no aspect of life, but I think it's absolutely wrong. I keep on telling my students, life is a mix and match of everything. So if you are here to study, you have to have a balance of extracurricular activities also, so that you develop a personality. Because you may be intelligent, but you are not expressive, you are a failure in life. So you have to have, I think, a mix of both things. That is, balance of life is very important. Third is create and learn. Many times we think things are difficult to learn, and we don't attempt to learn or practice or understand them, and we give up. This is not the right way of life. Yesterday we had a beautiful competition in our institute about body painting of anatomy. I don't know whether students know. What they did was in our department, they asked the students, anatomy they should paint, the muscle they should paint, and this was a very good way of learning, and it was a very novel way, and students participated so well. I was so happy that they created, and it's such a difficult anatomy, but they learned with fun. If you want to learn something, you have to create your own ways. You have to make it as a hobby. Say, if you want to know about someone, the best hobby is reading. If you read, you know about such wonderful ideas. You learn about literature. You learn about grammar. You learn about pronunciations. You learn so many things. If you develop a hobby, you groom yourself. So you have to learn by making some creative thoughts. Then only, if I say, I have not found any person on this earth who says, I am fond of studying. No, they say, I am fond of reading. I am hobby of reading, but they don't say, I am fond of studying my course books. Nobody is. So you have to create that hobby, that you have to understand subject the best possible way. Next is give. That, see, if you don't develop a habit of giving away, I am a qualified ENT surgeon. Very humbly I say, I am trained in certain robotic surgery, which only 6 surgeons in the country do. So if I think that I am an ENT, why should I be sitting here and making an institute? When I was selected, I had a great thought, but I thought all ENT surgeons are doing ENT. How many get a chance to give back to the country, to the society, a national institute? So I took this as a challenge and opportunity, and I gave, let me give something back to the society. It is a good institute with a combined effort. So you have to learn to give back. And it's saying you get what you give. So that is, to learn to give. And I tell you, it's a great pleasure to give. If you are worth something, if you give, the pleasure you get, you will never be able to compensate with any other physical aspect of life. Then be grateful. Here I mean the gratitude. That you are sitting in this hall, you should be having the gratitude that you were selected among these 20 who got an opportunity to visit this wonderful institute, got an opportunity to listen to wonderful thoughts. So you should be thankful always to life, because their wonderful book, I read this first book, Gratitude, the Purpose of Life. It's a wonderful book. They say that morning you get up, instead of cursing things, you should be thankful to life. And the evening when you sleep, you should be thankful that what you have food for all the 3 times, you have parents to care for you, you have friends to look after you, you have money to spend on you, you are in a good institute, you will get the degree. So this is all gratitude, small things gratitude. And if you write the gratitudes, you will always feel happy that you have so much what life has given to you. So this is one habit, and it's the old saying, it's not happiness that brings us gratitude, it's gratitude that brings us happiness. So we have to understand this. Next is increase humor. It's an old saying, laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. So this is, if you are, and being a medical teacher or scientist, I will say that when you smile, you require less muscles. When you frown or cry, you require more muscles. So less energy is required when you smile. So you conserve energy also if you are smiling all the day. So smiling, and you see a book there. I had compiled this book, Medi-Humor, in 2002. And I got it published through JP Publishers. And my condition with the publisher was that it will not be priced, it will not be sold. It will be only given as a free distribution to doctors in conferences, so that we have some laughing moments in life, because doctors are considered to be very sad and sincere person. So this book, I made it mandatory. I have not taken a single royalty of this book, but it's for free distribution, my condition with the JP for distribution. So this I try to do from my side. Be more resilient. Life is always ups and downs. It will not be always what you think about. It will not be always what you plan about. So you have to have this acceptance. Many times you will feel that I'm burned out. I tried hard, I could not succeed. I prepared well, I did not get distinction. I could not clear the exam. This happens with everyone. So you have to have that acceptance level that life has a phase of burnout, but burnout doesn't mean that you give up. Burnout means that you should have the sense of resilience and bounce back. कभी शेर को भागते देखा है? देखा होगा ना? पहले वो पीछे हटता है. Then he runs fast. So he doesn't straight away run from where he's standing. He just pulls himself back and then he runs. If you see the videos, how they run. So this is how life is. You have to pull many times back to go ahead. So this is what burnout and resilience means in life. So you have to understand, and many times you find sources which will give you to light yourself again. Because many times you feel burnout. There are some of the causes we give reason that we feel burnout. We are perfectionists. The perfectionists are the most dissatisfied soul. I am also partially perfectionist, so I also feel so. But I am also trying to work upon this, gradually improving, accept what is not in your hand. You have to accept that. So lack of coping skill, personal bad habit control, lack of time, this all. But as a doctor, I can say that even our ECG has ups and downs. Then only we say you are alive. If the ECG is flat, we declare the person dead. So same way is life. It will go up, it will come down. You have QRS waves. Those who have read ECG, it has a QRS wave, P wave. Then only we say you are alive. You are active. Your heart is active. Otherwise, flat come means you are gone. So that is what life means. Resilience can be learned by many ways. There are various ways. And it can be positive attitude, active coping skills, have good moral values, have some role models. You are sitting in this very important institute where the ideology of Swami Vivekananda is followed. Make somebody as a role model. You will have so many strong pillars to hold. So this all you have to learn: face fears, social support, have good friends around, have good family relations you can share with. So all these are make one small change. It is said that every step in life counts. It may be a small step, because first you have to take a step. And it's a very good book, those who are fond of reading, by James Clear, is Atomic Habits. And it's a wonderful book which talks about very small changes in life give very big outcomes and results in life. So, जैसे कहते हैं बूंद बूंद से घड़ा भरता है, it's the same something. You have to start changing your habits and you will see the results. Maybe it may be not be immediate, but definitely you will see the results which will be there. So, what I talked about, personal development is not a very rocket science you cannot learn. It is something you have to first accept and understand and start practicing. Then you can change yourself. Developing self-acceptance is the first step in personal development. I may not be good looking, okay? But looks are not always what matters. I may not be very intelligent. I have seen people who have taken hobby as their profession. They're not intelligent and they are better in their careers what intelligent people are. So you have to have your decisions of your life. Self-acceptance is the first thing. So you have to have self-esteem, core beliefs, know and accept yourself, and have courage to change if something is required to change. Only you can change yourself, nobody else. And there is a very old story that there was a Tibetan saint, and he said that I will change the world. So he started traveling the world. 20 years he traveled in the world. And finally he felt dejected and very sad. I could not change anything. Then he said, okay, I'll change the family. So he spent 5 years in changing the family. He again failed. Then he said, okay, now I'll try to change myself. He just spent 1 year and he felt the world has changed. So that is something very important, that first you have to start change within yourself. Then you can accept change in the surrounding and the environment. You try to change the surrounding first, rather changing yourself. There is the crisis we get entrangled into. So 6 components of self-management are motivation, learning style and strategies, time management. I take full lecture on time management in my orientation course. This is very close to me because procrastination and time management, they are the one thing youth has to understand today. That one thing we all have common. There is a God has given 24 hours a day equal to all. That He has given very generously equal to all. Rest may be variations. Looks may be variation, money may be variations, your everything, but one thing is common for everyone, and it's equal opportunity. How you make that equal opportunity as best opportunities in your hands, that you have to understand. So for a student, every day is like one-day test match. You as a student, you all are sitting, it's like a one-day test match. Your parents are observing you, your teachers are expecting from you, and you have to perform. So I know that your life is stressful. But during this phase only, you make yourself as a person you want to see yourself for another 60 years. I was talking to one very eminent motivational speaker and writer, Shiv Khera, if you have heard the name. So he said, I'm writing another book. I asked, I know him personally, so I asked him, what is the title of your next book? He said, I'm writing the book, How I Want to See My Obituary. So he said, I am writing the next title, How I Want to See My Obituary. That somebody writes about me, what they should write about me, I want to write on that. So that is how people think that way. And this is how our life is. So there are techniques of improving yourself I've already discussed. Being a medical professional, I'll talk 2 slides about health. WHO says health is not only physical well-being. Health is mental and spiritual well-being also. The complete definition of WHO includes, that is, you have to be mentally and spiritually healthy also. So when you talk about this, your body may be healthy, you're not a healthy person. So you have to have a very good combination of physical and mental health, then only you can call yourself as a healthy person for the society. Now, it's not the time to talk about mental health in detail, but many times we say that how I can develop mental health. I say it's okay to not be okay. You have to accept everyone fails in life. Everyone has difficult situations in life. So when we say that why me, why it is happening to me, there we fail. Here what we have to do is, we have to accept it is also required to cry in life. It is also required to understand what sadness is. Then only you will value the happiness. So we all go through the same phase. But when you go on the low phase, I'll request the youngsters, please raise your hand, I need help. What we fail in, we don't raise our hand that we need help. And I tell you, if you raise your hand, 100 hands will come to hold you and support you. Try this. What happens when we are in difficult time, we don't share, we don't tell. That becomes a big problem for us. So please learn, it is, if you are upset, you want to cry, but tell someone I am not well. They will come and help you and they will take you out of this problem. Understand? You youngsters are very talented. I think this generation is much more smarter than our generation and our previous generation. We have full faith. So you have to have out-of-box thinking, create good ideas, and good ideas give you a lot of energy in life. You create something new, you feel happy again and you start working with new zeal. There are 2 aspects of life, fight or flight. Hindi में कहते हैं भाग लो या भाग लो. Both aspects, you have to decide which life aspect you want to aspect. Failures are pillars of success. Don't be afraid of failures. Chandrayaan 3 was a success because we learned from the failures of Chandrayaan 2. Because the timing failed in Chandrayaan 2, so next time the ISRO team focused on the timing of landing, which was our failure in the end. So we learned from failures and we succeeded in Chandrayaan 3, Chandrayaan 2 failed. So it doesn't mean that our ISRO team was not competent. So they succeeded with the failures they learned and they made Chandrayaan 3 success. So that is, we have to understand. You identify this gentleman? Hitler. So he was a great leader. How many say he was a great leader? Raise your hand. You accept him as a great leader. Raise your hand. Nobody accepts him as a great leader. Yes, but he was a great leader. And what about this gentleman? Was he a great leader? So you want to be like Hitler or want to be like Mahatma Gandhi? Where you see yourself? One was violence, one was non-violence. So there are so many things to compare. So you stand somewhere in between. So you have to, yes, that girl said correctly, you have to be somewhere in between. So develop your personality. So what I want to say, Hitler was also not wrong, Gandhiji was also not wrong. You have to make your choices right and wrong so that you fit in between as a successful person. That you have to understand. Don't find fault with others, rather learn to see your own faults. And everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself, herself. That is where the crisis is. So go back and see yourself in mirror, who are you? And you'll get the answer. What we have talked about, Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake and stop, not till the goal is reached. That should be a motto of life. And this slide is very, very close to me. When adversity strikes, some people buy crutches, others grow wings. And life is full of opportunity and challenges. They are a package. Swami Vivekananda said, we are what our thoughts have made us. Your thinking is very powerful. If I think I am a wonderful person, I will be a wonderful person. If I think I am a useless person, nobody can change me unless my thinking changes. That's very important to understand. Become the kind of person who spreads sunshine and joy wherever you go, not whenever you go. In my previous institute, in my office, many people come to your office, waste your time. I wrote on my back wall, some people bring pleasure when they come, some people bring pleasure when they go. So when the people used to sit on the chair opposite, used to ask me, sir, मैं कौन सी category में हूँ? तो ये आपको तय करना है, because you have to be those you meet, you give pleasure to them. So again, who are you? It's never too late. If allowed, I can play a video of 1 minute. If it plays, this video I'm very fond of playing. I don't know whether it will play or not. Yes. Khair Bagda means face them. So I'd like to stop here, and I'm really thankful to Swamiji for giving me the opportunity to interact with the youth. And I am sorry for the inconvenience caused because of a change of my time schedule, but I'm thankful that I could come and interact with them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your absolutely enriching content on personality development. I think we have all learned quite a lot from sir's presentation, and it was very insightful, to say the least. And this presentation will stay with us for a lot of days to come. And everything and the point-wise and such a detailed description in such a short period of time that you gave us, sir, we are really indebted to you. Thank you so much.